So our guest today is Willem Oswald. Willem is owner at Industrial Robot Health and Machine.Build, where he helps customers deal with their robotics and automation needs. Willem, thank you for joining me today. I will let you introduce yourself a bit more. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you here. As you said, I'm a owner of Industrial Robot Help and Machine.Build. Basically, those two companies, they work really closely together with each other, but the Industrial Robot Help side of things is the consulting business, and the Machine.Build side of things is the actual integration side of the business. So on the consulting side, I'm actually a former Epson Robotics employee. And when I left Epson to actually follow a dream to sail to the Caribbean, when I came back from enjoying that dream and had to get back to the real world, I started Industrial Robot Help. The company's quite literally, we work with industrial robots and help people program, size, understand, do all sorts of things. Ultimately, we have a team of programmers who can help most companies program pretty much any robotics and automation. Our focus initially was Epson robots, but we get into all the industrial robots. We play with all the collaborative robots and anything in between. The fun part about my team is we love a challenge. So you present us with something new, something exciting, whether it's a new cobot or a new robot, we will figure it out and be able to program it. So that's kind of neat. So on the Industrial Robot Help side, we've had a lot of success in the pharmaceutical world. We've done a lot of general industrial stuff. We've helped anything from end users all the way to actual system integration partners. A lot of times system integrators have a team of programmers, but they may not be specialized enough to know every single little tool or option that's available. And that's actually how our business got started. A former partner that I worked with when I worked at Epson Robotics had a systems integrator who needed help with the force guidance option in Epson, which is a really cool option that they have, very specialized, and that's what they brought me in for. So I helped them program and deploy a really fascinating pharmaceutical project using force guidance. So that's the Industrial Robot Help side of things. As we evolved and worked with more and more clients, we found that there was more and more of a need to actually deliver full turnkey solutions. So we've partnered with some other companies and become a systems integrator. And that journey has been quite an interesting journey as well. Honestly, if you'd asked me probably 3 years ago if I wanted to become a systems integrator, I would have said, nope, no, thank you. I'm good just on the programming side. But with that whole ability to come up with innovative solutions and new and exciting projects, it really has made our company blossom. And that's where Machine.Build comes in. And for us, the real innovation that we try to do is we understand the fact that automation can be expensive, but we also understand that you can start simple. So you can start with one position, one machine, or something like that. And today, unlike many years ago, robots and automation start in the thousands of dollars instead of the tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. So when a small manufacturing company who did everything by hand 5 years ago went to get an automation quote and it was $200,000, $300,000, $600,000, that same quote today could be more closer to $100,000, just utilizing simpler automation, more cost-effective stuff. So that's really the idea behind Machine.Build, is to kind of be almost, I wouldn't say the opposite of a systems integrator, but to make things really simple. Simplicity to me is the key to keeping things cost-effective and reliable.
That's great. So it seems like you guys love to operate in a lot of different industries, I would say. So I would like to ask you, what are some of the big shifts or even trends that you're seeing right now in all these industries that you guys work in?
So, I mean, right now, the global economy is a little bit kind of in a bit of chaos. As you know, by our wonderful American politics, there's some crazy things going on here, and mainly just, plans and ideas and policies are changing on a regular daily basis. And what we're seeing, because we do a lot of work in the integration side, we're seeing, the bigger projects that we've quoted for integration, we're seeing not necessarily stopping, but we're seeing a little bit of resistance to moving those projects over the goal line immediately. I think all companies know that they need to automate, and that is something that is in their 5-10 year plan, no matter what, just the way the world is working today, the way that the economies are moving. But I think people are waiting to see what happens, what gets set into law and stays as law, to make their plans. And that really is the big issue right now, is companies can't make a solid plan for the next year, next 2 years, because they don't know what the exact policy is as far as their raw materials, importing from other countries or shipping to other countries or anything in the the geopolitical world, right? So things are changing regularly, which is difficult for companies to plan. On the small side of things, whether it's the consulting side, which is stuff that's projects that are already going or existing, or smaller, more cost-effective products, we're still seeing a lot of motion, a lot of movement, and a lot of growth. So companies are still spending money. They're just not necessarily spending the big dollars on the big projects yet, until they know what they can anticipate in the future.
So have you guys found a way to mitigate these effects for the big projects? Maybe some different strategies to go after these big ticket situations?
So I think for us, our number one strategy is to get as close to the customer as we can, right? We like to keep things simple, but we also like to be as close to the customer as possible, just because a lot of times you get things lost in translation, not even because it's different language. In engineering, when you're speaking about specific designs or ideas, it can be difficult to paint a picture without actually having any sort of a picture. When you go to a customer, it's funny, we're on a Zoom call across continents right now. And this has become the norm in selling, in meetings and things. But even to this day, it's still really important to stand in front of somebody, shake their hand, and have just a friendly discussion. I don't think that will ever go away truly, because having that customer relationship, being able to discuss and find a middle ground and understand what the real needs of the customer are critical. I mean, just today we were doing a final review meeting on a design we sold a while ago and have been building and designing, mechanical design. And we came up with a new concept because their end customer said they didn't want to they were going to move this to another place. And so the physical fencing around robots was going to change. And we came up with the concept of using area scanners instead, which allows you to use basically, as long as your openings stay within the range of the area scanners, now you're not worried about if your fencing is, 2 meters or 3 meters, right? So it was a really interesting, we have a really great customer relationship with that customer. We're very close to them. They can call us easily. We can have very easy, friendly discussions. And that to me will never go away. And that's kind of where I'm seeing the importance here is, having that conversation with customers or potential customers and helping understand, well, maybe a 2 upsell or this big project that you wanted to do is not in the cards today. We know you need to get started on something. Let's cut off a corner of that, cut the price into a fraction, make sure it can be added onto in the future. So make some sort of modularity, and then, let's start small and build up to it. A lot of people come in and they want to automate everything. They want to run everything. They want to do it all. And we really like to be realistic and say, okay, let's find the simple, the easy, the more cost-effective way to really get you used to automation before we, bite off that big chunk, right? So, and I think that's going to be a strategy that we will employ here, continually moving forward, just keeping things as simple as possible.
Yeah, great. And is there a particular aspect of your companies that you think is the main driver currently right now of the business, the thing that works the best, I guess?
Our main driver of the business is fun. Fun and creativity. We absolutely adore just having a good time, right? We're all super creative, super curious people. I talked about earlier in the introduction that our team loves new challenges. So whenever I talk about a new robot type or a new product type or a part type, or even a new kind of like customer niche or application, all everyone's lights eyes light up and get excited. So we really try to make sure that we have a really high quality of life for all of our employees, and we have a good time while we're doing things. There's obviously always going to be aspects of the job that are not fun, usually paperwork. Most engineers don't like paperwork. We try to minimize that as much as possible. We leverage tools as much as possible as well. So we're leveraging AI. I know it's a big buzzword, but we do leverage it in our everyday work, as well as we built our own AI vision system, which is super fun. So ultimately, our big thing is fun and creativity.
Yeah, great. And going to the topic of AI, which you brought up, I would like to know what you have done, both in terms of the product delivery, so the vision system you mentioned, and also your everyday use for your own processes.
So we have two main applications that we've done AI in. So first off, there's a million vision systems out there. There's a million big vision companies. One of the things that I've done a lot is I have a team of really incredible coders and really creative people. And sometimes, I don't know if it's the best way, but this has been my thought process. Sometimes I like to say, why don't we just build it ourselves? And when you get to use your own code and build your own kind of tools for your customer specific applications, it for me, I think it makes a lot of sense because it lowers the cost, because we're ultimately using off the shelf equipment components, and we're building our own software around them. And so that allows you to have easy replacement costs, plug and play kind of ideas, and you're using hardware that is not locked out by a manufacturer. One of my least favorite things in automation is there's a lot of really good automation companies out there, but they make hardware that is like licensed, and you have to pay license fees every year, and you can only use their code and their rules in their box. We want as much freedom as possible. We do a lot when you get into like the pharmaceutical world or the aerospace world. You get into sensors that are whether just Ethernet or USB or whatever. We do a lot of data collection, data analysis, and data output, stuff that's really easily done when you build your own code in C# or Python or things like that. And so we saw the same with vision. If you look at vision systems and the main vision players, the hardware is a bit old and antiquated. And the days of paying $500, $1,500 for a camera, I think, are over, because vision systems, basic vision systems for finding parts, locating them, and picking them, can use a basic off-the-shelf USB camera that only costs a few $100s. And so if we're integrating that with newer AI software on a basic PC platform, that we're actually using some of the NVIDIA chipsets in some dev kits and building out our own. But at the end of the day, now a $10,000 vision system is $5,000. And its flexibility is incredible. I mean, I have a bit of a dream. I'm a bit of a dreamer and an optimist, but I have a dream of building a robotic system that you just put parts into, and it knows what to do with them. Within reason, obviously, if it's an assembly or whatever it is, but the system will know by looking at the parts and kind of moving them around. The system will know what to do with these parts, or you can train it very easily. You can see in the industry, everything's going to a no-code kind of training side of things. And that makes a lot of sense, because if you think about now, if you have, let's just say, in a regular manufacturing application where you're not doing any automation, you're training people, you literally sit down with a person and you say, okay, here's the tools you use, here's the parts you do, here's how you do it, and you train them. Why aren't we doing that and have that ability with machines yet? We should. And I think we're very close to that. So the AI vision system was a fun project that we embarked on to help save some costs, to help simplify things. And and it turns out to be quite effective. And once again, it's half the price of everything else, and we deliver it, with projects all the time. We've got it working really well. Just talking to Epson Robots, talking to some other robots as well. So that's been a really good success. We've actually ran random parts through it just because, and it's got like an 80% hit rate on without any training, which is kind of fun. And then the other aspect of AI we use is I actually have my team build a project management software. It's codenamed Chihuahua. um, and the reason is, first off, I love making things silly and having fun, as we said before. But the concept is that the best project managers are the ones who constantly bother you, right? They see the issues, they see the vendors who aren't shipping on time, they see the people who aren't getting the jobs that they've been assigned on time, and they bother them. And so I think of like a little yippy dog constantly barking at you to be like, get your job done or get your parts delivered or whatever. And so we built a AI project management system that does all of those things. So that's something that we deploy, and as we get bigger and bigger jobs, it's going to come in handy more and more because we'll maintain our delivery dates and we'll keep everything on track.
That's cool. That's cool. So are you doing something similar, perhaps even on the sales side, or just for your internal management?
So right now we're sticking with internal. We are big HubSpot users for the sales side. We have some ideas, and we'd love to drive some more and deploy some more AI on the sales side. Right now, we're not. Like I said earlier, our big push right now on the sales side is being more intimate with our customers. I think that's critical for us, just because we do a really good job solving very unique problems, and we are kind of a skunkworks team as far as like things go for programming and things like that. So at this stage in our business, we'll probably still be fairly person to person. I think as we expand and grow, we will definitely push into the AI world. I also don't want to grow too fast because I don't want to dilute our existing customer base, right? I think a lot of people only think about getting new customers. And for me, it's really important to maintain those relationships with existing customers, as the effort to grow an existing customer is a bit less than it is to find new ones.
Okay, so basically you have confidence that you can actually retain your current customers and expand on their current projects, basically, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that really is fascinating about our consulting side of the business is we will actually sit at customer facilities, and we make these really close relationships as if we are one of their employees, right? And that way, when we see problems come across their desk and they kind of say, oh man, we've got this issue, we need to see it, we can't really see it, the vision system isn't quite working, or the robot is, they'll come to us and they'll say, hey, what do you think about this project? And then there's opportunities created there. So I mean, for example, one of our biggest clients is a pharmaceutical client, which is probably my second or third client ever starting this company. When I started this company almost 6 years ago, we only started with them just programming Epson robots. Now we do PLC programming, we do vision, we do all sorts of stuff. And so just because having that close customer relationship, and they knew that we had the capability of solving big problems that were unique and not necessarily easy to solve, just like going to the internet or talking to people. That ability really helps. And then on top of all of that, we're embedded in their systems in a way that we understand how their stuff works, just because when you're working with something, you want to know everything there is to know about that specific system so you can design the code and everything to interact well. And so in that process of learning how their processes work internally, it really helps us be an added resource of problem solving.
Great. And we discussed the things that are going great. Is there anything that if you could make disappear or change with a magic wand, you would?
Man, a magic wand would be beautiful. I mean, it goes along with the crystal ball and all of that. I think really the big challenge for us right now is on the bigger project side, right? We have some really cool opportunities on some big projects out there right now that are a little bit delayed, and I wish I could wave a magic wand and say everything's going to be okay. We're going to growth will be here, and automation is an absolute must have. What can we do to help move some of these projects over the goal line would be great. That's really I think the big one for us. We're busy, and we're ever growing, and I'd love to expand the team even further because we have so much fun, and I want to share that with more people.
Yeah, awesome. And expanding on that, where do you see yourself and your companies in the next 6 to 12 months?
6 to 12 months. We've been so we have this incredible partnership. We partnered with IGUS and the RBTX team. So I don't know if you're familiar with IGUS. They have a great presence in Europe. They're a motion plastics company, as well as they build some of their own automation as far as like linear motion, gantries. They have their own robots as well. They have a really cool little 6-axis robot. And in the US, they've built out this very large RBTX marketplace. It's literally rbtx.com. And we've partnered with them on the systems integration side. And there is incredible amount of potential there that is exciting, and we're growing with them. And so we've leveraged some of our partnerships and friendships and friends to help with this growth, and they are an incredible marketing machine, incredible company. They are a fairly large company, but they act like a startup, and they're smart and they're quick moving. And so that partnership is really expanding, and in the next probably year or so will blossom even further. And the opportunities are so great and so much fun. And the people that work there, the people that we're working with there, we literally sit in their office, which is super fun. And they're just great people. And that relationship is at a very beginning stages, but the opportunity is extreme. So
great. Well, I'm going to ask you now to tell the people where they can find you, where they can learn more about you and your activities.
Yeah. Perfect. So really easy. My company names are all very literal. So Industrial Robot Help. So industrialrobothelp.com is our website for the consulting services. Anything from programming to safety audits to basically anything you can ever imagine, robots, PLCs, vision, everything that's there. From the systems integration side, we have Machine.Build. The .build domain is pretty cool. I love I'm an internet nerd, and so the opportunity to buy a .build domain, it throws some forms off because it's not .com, but Machine.Build, also very little. We build machines, mostly around robotics and automation. So Machine.Build is our integration side. And then if you want to find me on LinkedIn, it's linkedin.com/Willem, WILLEM, Oswald, OSWALD. So those are the main places to find me. You can also find me through the partner network in rbtx.com. So I want to give them a quick shout out. So it's robotics, but rbtx.com. That team is incredible, and we work very closely with them as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Willem. It's been a pleasure. Lots of great stuff.
Excellent. Thank you too. It's been a pleasure, and have a great night.
You too.